we will be underway. There we go.
Got
Right.
it.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you. So, welcome along, everybody, to another LinkedIn for Breakfast. This is the place where we really help you to sort of understand this wonderful professional network that is out there and actually all the trends, all the different things, all the tactics that you can use. And today is all about Sales Navigator. And we've got a few things to share with you. Plus, I'm going to use a little bit of the time, if you don't mind, just to let you know about a few different things that we're doing within Million Dollar Sprint, which is unusual for this session. But I will reveal the reason why in a second. So, first of all, let's just share me old slide deck. And we can just go through that. Okay, so just let me just put the share screens. Perfect, great stuff. So just I like to share this slide all the time because I think it's important. So our mission here at LinkedIn for Breakfast is to basically create the best place on earth where you can learn how to expand your brand on LinkedIn to be able to get people to know you, see you, become familiar, become sort of that web famous, as well as get your phone ringing and inbox pinging those leads. I love that lead generation business development. So how do we grow your brand awareness and how do we generate leads? And we want to do all of that for free for you. We do a weekly call. We've got an amazing community. In fact, actually, Flora, I'm sure any second now is going to be sharing the link with you in the chat in terms of this free community. And this free community is awesome. There's so much course, there's so much stuff that you can get involved in this. And in fact, actually, let me just show that. If you're jumping into this, let's just get the right one up. We just passed 3,000 members. Way! So thank you very much for jumping into this. We really do appreciate it. And please do continue the lovely conversations. And we got this a couple of pods that we run every Tuesday, so you can post your content here. So we do a pod for business to corporate. So if you're selling to corporate, then there's a pod here for you to get your like posts and liked by other people who are selling into corporate. And if you're selling into small business or direct to consumer, then there's a pod there to be able to get your post likes in there. So we do that, and we also do this free session every single week. Occasionally, and this is the first time ever, so when I say occasionally, like this is the first time ever, we have a partnership where we bring a guest in to be able to create something that's pretty ninja. And I'm super excited about it. And I've actually talked about it a little bit here on this post where we're bringing Nino in, who's going to actually help us next week for a 4-day challenge to be able to create a LinkedIn AI assistant. So we're going to build that over 4 days. And the three assets that you're going to create over those 4 days is one, a company kit. What do you need? What is a company kit? Well, it's basically a briefing document to AI that you can give to it to give a full briefing on you, your business, etc. And you can do that not just for the other two assets we're going to create it, but any social media that you're creating. So it's a really useful tool. But the other two things are more practical from an application point of view. So first of all, the commentator. So we're doing a LinkedIn commenter, which you could use for any social media, which is basically going to comment back to any DMs you get, any comments you get, and it's all going to do it in your voice. And then the second asset is an article writer stroke newsletter writer that's going to do it in your knowledge and your voice. And it's going to help you to create your LinkedIn newsletter every single week in your style. So it doesn't look like an AI, it looks like you. So those are the three assets we're going to create. And because Nino's coming on to do this, and as I say, it's the first time ever I've done this, but we're just doing a little thank you back to him of $40. It's not massive, but it means that you get all the recordings, and he's created an AI, basically an AI chat to help you to create those three assets to back up the actual online training. The training starts at 2 p.m. every day UK time, or that's 9 a.m. Eastern time for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. So if you want to get in on that action, all you have to do is just jump into the LinkedIn for Breakfast group, go to the classroom, and basically try and access this. And if you haven't done, it will just come up with a buy $40. And once you're there, you'll get access to all the online course. So thank you so much for the people who already joined that, and looking forward to doing that online sprint and getting those three AI assets for you. And don't worry, it is meant to be for beginners with AI. We can really help you to do that. Cool. Right. That bit over. Let's think about Sales Navigator and why it's important. Sales Navigator is a premium application on LinkedIn, and it's a A software that they upsell you to. It's not premium, it's actually above premium. It costs about, I think it's about £60 or 59.99 or whatever it is. It's different in different countries, etc. But it's around that amount. It's an annoying amount of money. Okay, so it's not like it's like if it's 20 quid, I'd say everybody should do it. A little bit like ChatGPT being £20. Like you think, well, you might as well do it because there's so much you can do with it. But it's sixty quidish. So it's an annoying amount of money, but it is really good and it does make a lot of sense for you if you are using LinkedIn properly to find the right amount of people. And why am I so bolshy about Sales Navigator? Well, when you can only send about 100 connection requests a week from LinkedIn, and it's not an exact like at 100 you get cut off, but if you start to take the mick and you go to like 110, 20, 120, LinkedIn will literally either ban you for a couple of days to say, hey, you've overused it, or it will just block you from sending any more connection requests and say that you've been a very naughty boy or girl and tell you you can't go do that anymore, right? So that's the problem. We only have about 100 connection requests we can make each week. And if we want to generate leads, we want to connect with our people, we want to message them, we want to reach out and actually invite them to stuff. So by knowing exactly the right type of people to target, it's super important. And then once we're trying to connect with people to be able to continue the conversation with them, again, is super important. And Sales Navigator is the door, the wardrobe into that world. So let's think about some reasons why you should use Sales Navigator. Well, let's just dive into the platform. So if you're doing a basic search on LinkedIn and you go in, here we go, and use this bar here. So as again, right, we're not a big, we don't have to, you have to upgrade to stuff if you don't want to. So you can, if you wanted, go and find, let's go and try and use the normal search. And let's say I want to put something like this. So I can do a search that says business coach if I want to try and find business coaches. And if I put it in the old inverted commas, that's going to be an exact match, right? So if I leave it outside of there, it's going to be a broad match. If I put it in there as an exact match, you can do things like business and you can do things like minus coach or plus coach in there, but just try and do stuff like this, right? So it's called Bayesian search terms. It's this plus that and this, right? So you've got to kind of be a bit clever when you're using the free software and you can find a list, right? And this is a basic search. So I can find there's about 100,000 people in here that are business coaches. And then if I want to then go, well, actually, I just want to use a location like United Kingdom, I can show results. And then I can also do things like, well, I don't want to see my first degree connections, so I just want to see my second and third degree connections. I can do that. So there is a lot going for the basic search on LinkedIn. You can see that I can get to quite a nice list. So that's one of the things that I would say you can go for, right? But what if you wanted to only see people who were women, for example? Can't do that search using this. Or what if I wanted to just work, if I'm an HR company, I wanted to work with businesses that had 200 to 500 staff? Well, you can't do that with this search. What if I only wanted to work with self-employed people? What if I only wanted to work with people from certain companies, right? There's lots of different nuances to how we actually target, and everybody's target audience is actually quite difficult to find. So my pedigree jumps. We jump on to this amazing tool, Sales Navigator, right? And if you have got Sales Navigator, it's just a little link up here top right, and then it will take you through to a platform like this. Now, there's a few things, and I'm just going to show you these lead filters that's important, because this kind of is, I would say, 50% of why this is cool, right? Because you can do some other things for search terms. So first of all, in terms of headcount, we get these advanced search filters. And as I say, it's about 50% of why you would buy this. And if you only wanted to go for businesses that are, say, 11 people to and 51 to 200, so 11 to 200, I can now see businesses that are that, which is really cool. And then I might also think, well, I want to work with only owners. Now, the problem is if I go business coach like this, I then have to do something like plus, and then I'd have to do something like founder, something like that, but I could only do like one. I can't just kind of do founder. If I start going founder plus MD plus, director, do you know what I mean? It's just going to fall apart. And yeah, yeah, here you go. And actually, it's just, it's not going to give us enough filters, right? But if I wanted to go in and say, well, actually, I want to work with specific seniority level, I can go job titles, right? So job titles is easy. I could add in founder, I could look at co-founder, I could add them all in, right? I could then do CEO. But and part of this is me showing you can do this, and another part of me is showing people who are already using this my thought process when I go and do this, right? So you can do job titles up there, and I can pack multiple job titles in. But I actually love this feature on Sales Navigator where you can look at seniority level. So instead of going, I want to have people who are CEO, founder, managing director, boom, 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 I can actually just go, oh, hello, seniority level, and I can tick on here and go down to owner partner. And that's going to have a broad brush of anybody who's an owner partner. And then I can do a broad brush of, excuse me, frog in my throat, anybody who's a director or CXO, right? So now we've got kind of C-suite going on here. And then once I think about that, I've got C-suite, maybe I also want to have experienced managers, or I want to have people who are strategic that are in the organization. So you can see how I can just broad brush seniority level to save me having to bang in loads and loads of job titles. So I love that about Sales Navigator. Super good in terms of putting these titles together. Now I can think about things like geography. Yes, that's on the basic search, but I can add all of that in, no problem at all. And I can get a little bit more ninja with how I do geography. So if I just want people on the commuter belt around London, I can bang all of those in and have it within the one search, as opposed to having to go here and going business coach plus, Surrey. And because there's more than one Surrey in the UK, in the world, because there's one in Canada and probably elsewhere. I can go Surrey, and then I'd have to go plus UK, potentially if I did that. And then now it's going to give me my Surrey coaches like that. But then I'd have to do that every single time. So I have to do that for Berkshire and I'd have to do that for Hampshire. Whereas in here, I can just go tick, 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 tick in terms of geography, and I can just, find them and put them in like this. And if I wanted to, I could go Surrey, but I could go Berkshire, and then I could actually go, I can exclude this, right? So I can actually exclude a place. So I can say, I want people in Surrey, but I don't want them in Reading. Well, no, Reading's in Berkshire, but do you see what I mean? So I can say this, but not this. So I really like how you can do that. Now, so some other things that we can think about here. So we talked about women. And now you can't do a gender. There is no gender drop down. And a lot of my clients are coaches who only help women, or they're, people who, don't openly say they only help women, but they look at their client base and they go, well, I've got about 70% female audience or male audience. It works vice versa. And so you go, well, actually, I want to, it makes sense for me to target. If I can only connect 100 people, I might as well connect to the 100 most likely to buy from me. And if they are female, great, that's how I want to do it. So you then have to do this through groups. So what you need to do is then search for groups on LinkedIn. You then find, so this is a hack. Remember, I'm always talking about there's some advanced stuff in here, and then there's some basics just showing you how this works, right? So if I go women in business, this is a slightly difficult hack if you're male, by the way, because of this reason. So if I go to groups here, I can find all the women in business groups. Now you can only add them into a search within Sales Navigator if I'm a member of those groups. So there lies the problem for me. Because although this week I might identify as a woman in business, it kind of is a little bit difficult when I see my profile, right? So I would have to go through. And so if you are trying to target this, you go and join all these women in business groups. And then you would go into Sales Navigator and you would go into groups here and then find the women. Now, here's my dirty secret. I am actually part of some of these groups, but I've purely done this based upon the ability to demonstrate this, because actually I don't do this as a search within mine, but it's quite nice to be able to do it. So here you go. So the Women in Business Network, and I could just basically add all of those groups into here, just say they're all groups. And you then go, here's all the groups for women that I'm in. And then I only want to have the founders who are based in UK, who are business coaches. And then bam, I've got my perfect list. Do you see how that can work really nicely? And all it is being able to stack all of these search criteria on top of each other, which you can't do when you're trying to use the basic search, right? Um, so, industry sector, super easy. That's like everything else, but I can now target multiple industry sectors and I can also exclude industry sectors. So, I might want to be able to do, IT, but I don't want defense as part of it or whatever it is. So, that's really cool. So, you can go include and exclude. So there's a few other things in here, and there's loads I can go through, but I want to show you, I want to use the time to be able to show you a couple of other things on this. But look, 19,000 people have come out through this search. And when you have 19,000 people, you think, well, 100 people a day, that's, I'm sorry, 100 people a week, that's way too long a tail to be able to get through all of these. So now let's try and get the best list possible. And there's a few things that can really help you with that. So one, if I'm an HR consultant, for example, and I'm trying to get into a company that maybe have an incumbent HR function, or I'm a trainer and I want to work with a company, I can actually select here and I can go people who have changed jobs recently. I can select it and then it shows me the 734 people who have changed jobs. And I think it's in the last 90 days. Yes. Yeah, in the last 90 days, these people have changed jobs. So what a perfect time to be able to reach out to them and say, hey, congratulations, you're in a new job. We'd love to maybe talk to you about X, Y, and Z. Bam. So that's a really nice filtering device. So you can keep the same list. And here's the cool thing, right? If I show you my saved searches here, you can see here in green, it says 2 new results since this date, 110 results since this date, 52 results since this date, right? And that's because once we do this search and save it, every time someone changes jobs that's new, it will show up with how many results. And if I'm doing this Samira search here, which is just one of our clients, I can click on that and go, that's 110 new people who've just changed jobs. So I can then ping that, just see those 110 people, add them into a list and then outreach into them, right? Bam, that becomes a really nice way of looking at it. So it means that you can create a core search and then you can see when people come in and out, which is particularly good when you're looking at change jobs, or my personal favorite, posted on LinkedIn. So these are people who, and there's 3,000 of them here, who have posted on LinkedIn in the last 30 days. Why do I find that important? That means that they are active, they're using it, and they are actually promoting themselves or doing stuff, which when I'm kind of a marketing person and I'm talking to people about helping them to grow their business and doing more stuff on LinkedIn, it's great to see the people who have a pulse on LinkedIn are actually using it. So if I send them a connection request, it's likely they're going to see it. So my percentage connection goes up. And when I have more people who are accepting my connection request than the average person, my SSI score goes up. It means that my trust goes up. And actually, I can stretch that 100 outreaches to about 150 outreaches a week because you get gifted that ability to do a bit more, right? Cool, huh? And I wouldn't be able to do all of that ninja stuff if I didn't have Sales Navigator. Right, my pedigree chums. Here's the other things, right? Let's jump on to our feed, right? Normal LinkedIn feed. So this is kind of classic chaos of every Tom, Dick, and Harry that I'm part of my network. They go into my feed, right? And it's a mess because these are just everybody. I'm connected with 20,000 people, and here's a load of stuff, and there's a load of other things like people who are trying to promote me stuff. So here's a promoted ad, right? And then I go down, and then there's someone I'm not sure here, and then I'll scroll down again, and there'll be like recommended jobs for me. I was like, I haven't had a job since I was in my 20s, right? So, why would that be a thing, right? And then there's another look, promoted post. So within one scroll, I had one person who showed me a piece of content, and then somebody shared someone else's content, and then it's asked me to have a job, it's asked me to buy something, and now it's talking about something else, right? So it's just a minefield of just rubbish. And it's the classic Facebook problem. You go on there, you're just getting sold to with ads, right? Whereas you go onto Sales Navigator and you head into the homepage here, and you can create alerts, and those alerts can be based upon a list, right? So that list then becomes an aggregated feed of just the people that you put on this list. So I've got a lead list, and these are, say, my target coaches. So there's just 35 people on here. And in here, here's their names, and I can then see what they're up to. So to start off with, 2 hours ago, Jenny here has shared a post. Awesome. So I can go click on it. I can go see her. I can get a little bit more information if I want to. I can add a few notes on her. But most importantly, if I go back to the alerts page here, if I just press view, I can then see the post in my right hand panel. And without having to leave Sales Navigator, I can quickly have a read of it. I can go, oh, that's a lovely thing. In this webinar like this, and I can then do this. I can do what we call clamming, which is comment, like, add message, right? So that comment, or I can like, so my like, I can do something different, like I can say insightful. My comment be, great live, thank you for sharing. Oh, come on, thank you for sharing. Um, I can say like, how did you all meet? Very I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a very. I'm only doing that because I haven't read the post. I have no idea what they're talking about. But it means that I can add in something that's generic, right? So here you go. So you get a really nice post, and it means that in her world, I can be really abundant, and I can be liking everything. I can be commenting on stuff. I can be sharing her content, and it means that I can just spend my time, which is very limited, only kind of optimizing these 35 people. And then if I feel like there's someone that I really like again and I go do my search, I can go back to my searches. I can add a few more into that targeted list. So once I connect with them, I can add it in and then bam, they become the people I'm trying to target. So that's really cool, right? It just becomes my focal point for what I'm doing. So this gives me time in terms of my communication and my commenting and my liking on other people's content. And then the leads list becomes the focal point for what we're doing. And just like individuals, we can also do the same with accounts. And the beauty about accounts is that we can also look at things like turnover, right? So I can do things like look at people's annual turnover. So I can look at companies' annual turnovers, and I can look at, again, company headcount and stuff. But the turnover piece is in there. So not only can I look at headcount, I can also look at how much money they're making. And then I can add the two searches together. So individuals and accounts. So I can say, I only want to see people who are like this, who work for companies that are like that. And then it can create the master list for me. So my friends, that is Sales Navigator. Now it does have a messaging feature. And I will say in here, I do not use this messaging feature. Now I think maybe people should do potentially. And potentially it would be, a good feature if you're thinking about this long term. The reason why I don't is because I actually use these data lists that I'm creating and I add that into an automatic connection request software. And that connection request software, I actually then do my messaging and my replying back within that software. Now, that's another conversation. If you want to hear me talk about LinkedIn automation, you can go into the classroom in here, and it's a free training in here. And we talk about, I don't know, where is it? It's somewhere in here. I tell you what, we'll send it to you guys on the replay in here. We'll send the LinkedIn automation training in the follow up with the notes, etc. But that's Sales Navigator. So, my friend, I hope and I know that that is a big deep dive on what the possibility is there and why you should use it. I think it's important for, as I say, advanced users to see how we're using it, some different nuances there. And then for people who maybe are on the fence, go, oh, okay, that's maybe why I would use it and how it would actually save me time. And in reality, if it's saving you a few hours, then 60 quid's a cheap investment, right? And if it's getting you another client a month because you're doing that, then actually it pays in significance to the work of a client. Now, before you pause, or before I pause here, I just want to take this opportunity, if it's okay with you guys, just before I take questions, to use this week, which is an unusual week. It's the Black Friday week, to be able to just let a few of you know about an offer that we're sharing, which we find really exciting. And here's the punchline: it's £100, right? So it's not like a huge amount. So it's worth speaking to us and talking to us, or listening into what we say here. and it's only going to be for 3 minutes. But we're super, super excited about sharing what we do at Million Dollar Sprint because a lot of what we talk about is around this power of one at Million Dollar Sprint. And this is our client group. And we talk about building awareness, which is sending those connection requests, building awareness with your audience, all the stuff that I just showed you today. But then we talk about consideration, which is the second part, bringing them into something where you can warm your audience up. So we talk about 5 different consideration assets which we can help you to build. Could be a weekly event, exactly like this one. Could be a podcast that we help you to create. Could be a LinkedIn newsletter that we help you to create. Could be a LinkedIn live that you do regularly each week, or it could be a YouTube channel long form video, right? Those are consideration items where people spend a bit of more time with you. And we want you to be able to create one of those a week. We call it your weekly moment, that rhythm for your business. And then we want to help you to rebrand your sales meetings into something interesting. For example, we do a LinkedIn profile audit where for free, we audit people's profiles on LinkedIn, gives us an opportunity to meet people and talk to people one-to-one. And then if it's opportune, then we'll transition into a sales meeting. All of you should be thinking a little bit more creatively about what you name your sales meetings, and that will help you to generate more leads. And we want to help you to do all of that. And then when you do deliver for people, we see there as being 3 points to your delivery, which is around delight. How do you delight people when they buy from you? And if people are delighted, then how do you gamify your product to help them to win at your product? And if people are delighted and winning, then they're going to tell other people so how they become advocates. So the power of one's so important. You have one asset in each one social media platform, one weekly moment, one type of branded sales meeting, and then we try and help you to just sell one product. And how we do that is we actually create this entire game plan for you, and we post, create, and do this all for you, which is crazy, right? We're a coaching organization, we're a community, and we do this for you all under one product, right? And so this is posting every day. So we think about what is your daily rhythm? What posts are we going to do? So polls on Mondays to get engagement up, promotions on Tuesday to get people to book into your weekly moment on a Wednesday, getting people to come along and watch the replay, Throwback Thursday, share a win, a piece of credibility on Friday, and then more personal stuff on the weekends, right? And then outreach wise, we want to send 20 connection requests a day for you to hit that 100. So you don't have to. You just get this. We get this. We pay for Sales Navigator for you. We get the most amazing searches, and then we do all of the connection requests for you and all the DMs for you. We also then send 30 introductory emails a day for you, right? To that same list. So the perfect list is getting emails and also connection requests. When we're going to be getting your company page up by getting 250 likes per month, we max that out. Plus, we'll use the 1,000-person event invite to get people onto your weekly moments. It's massive in terms of the outreach. And then we also work your email, your subscriber list, by using that to invite people along to your weekly moment. And if people don't like a physical event like this, no problem at all. Then we also have a strategy for doing LinkedIn newsletters or a LinkedIn Live or a podcast. And that has a similar strategy. And if you want to, we can also add in shorts at the end because shorts are massive. In 2025, we see that short form, real type content on LinkedIn. If anybody's seen the LinkedIn app recently, LinkedIn have just added a video tab at the bottom, which means that LinkedIn is now playing in this short space. So it's vital that we start thinking, all of us, about this. We edit that shorts for you. We put those little subtitles over it for you. We do all of that stuff for you. And my friends, look, this works. This is Gavin, who is one of our $1 million sprinters, who didn't have a coaching product before he started with us. And now he's selling multiple people into his high ticket mastermind a week, and he's smashing it. We've also got Caroline here, who's selling into corporates, right? So this is not just a B2C thing. She's selling into corporates. She did a 51K deal using the MDS system. She said that she never was speaking to these people before, and through the activity, she just won a 51K deal. And that's a B2B, B2 corporate, difficult to get into type product. Clinton didn't do his weekly moment, and now he's getting 3 more clients from his weekly moment. He's smashing it. It gives him a focal point to his marketing. And yes, we do get people into the $1 million Hall of Fame. This is Dan, who went from just a few hundred grand. I know he's doing all right with his marketing, a few hundred grand, but now he's going for actually his second as in 2 million in revenue after breaking through that million revenue point. And we get that, they get trophies and stuff when they do. Look, and I'm living proof of this. I scaled now 3 businesses to over 1 million in revenue and exited them in my business. Don't worry about reading all that. You just have to trust me on all that sort of stuff. But there's so much information about me making a fool of myself on TV and The Apprentice. I just don't want to go into it again. It hurts too much. But it's all good and fun and games, right? So these are the 5 things that we give our clients, right? And remember, it's only there's £100 offer here for you, right? So these are the 5 things that we give to you, right? We do growth consulting. So I want to be your business coach, and we give you 4 drop-in clinics a week for you to come to. I can help and support you. I'm there. I also do a one-to-one kickstart session with you to get the entire plan together, and there's other one-to-one opportunities throughout the time with us to be able to get your plan nailed, right? Then we give you a virtual assistant, a VA, and that VA is going to work 4 hours a day, 5 days a week for you every week, right? So that is a person, they only have 2 clients. They have you and one other, right? So you have them every morning, someone else will have them every afternoon. They're going to write this work, post this work, reply to the stuff. They're going to basically be your marketing person, right? They look after all the automation and AI. We're also going to give you an amazing community that's going to be in here. So the community meets up in person once a quarter in London, and we're looking to expand that to other places. But it's in London. We do a retreat also where we go climb a mountain and then have a little bit of a chat, afterwards in the conference. It's great fun, right? Great community. And yes, there is a library of resources and help, but the whole point about that library of resources is show you how to delegate all this stuff to the VAs. And how that works is we create a plan, which is the thing at the bottom. So it's an end-to-end plan for you. That's what you and I would do in our Kickstart session. And then my team put that together into a set of to-dos, and then your VA will just be doing this, and you have complete transparency of what they're doing. And look, we got so many testimonials and reviews, right? And the next page is where we're talking about what this stuff costs. But the testimonials are amazing. People are tripling their investments. People are saying the Power One is a game changer. And this is it's a real privilege to do it. So what our normal, look, you could easily spend 2 grand a month on this stuff easily if you're doing a marketing agency. God, when I was growing my marketing agency, we were selling this sort of stuff for 3 grand a month. You could easily spend that. And our normal price is £697 per month. So here's the offer. £100, we're going to give you full membership for the rest of 2024. So you're going to get into the program. You're going to get into the Kickstart session with me. We're going to put the entire plan together. We're going to build out exactly what it is, and we're going to get you rocking and rolling, ready for 2025. We're going to have exactly all the campaigns, all the strategies, everything all locked in. And then from 2025 onwards, it's just going to be £497 per month. That's nearly 1.5 grand per month saving, right? And so that's huge, right? And I'm going to give you a little bit more on this, but here's the buy link, because the point is that we're only giving 10 of these, and actually my team have pre-sold this already. So here's the link now, just put into Stripe. All that's going to do is take you to a page to pay the £100. And then after that, it's going to take you to a contract to sign. You obviously have signed a contract. It is a 6-month term, so just complete clarity. You're paying the £100 now. It's going to give you the rest of the year for free. We're going to take that £100 off your first month. So January will just be £397 per month. And then you're going to have 5 more monthly payments after that. So it's a 6 months. So 6 months from January onwards, you basically get December for free. Well, yeah, you get December for free because we're taking the £100 off the January one. But it means that we get started now, but your 6 months doesn't start till January. It means we can get the campaigns ready. You can be thinking about this over Christmas without worrying about having to, that you spent a load of money. Actually, you haven't spent a load of money, but you've got a lot of value. So we've got clients who are all starting at a similar time, getting you absolutely nailed and making 2025 the best year yet. Sometimes in business, you can spend way too much time just fiddling around, playing with this stuff, trying this stuff. Remember, we pay for the Sales Navigator. All the stuff that we just showed you is all being done for you. All of this LinkedIn stuff I talk about every single week is getting done for you. and I'm there as your coach to be able to help you to be able to deliver this stuff. So together, you can have me, you can have my community, you can have the VA who's going to smash this out of the park. You see Flora posting stuff into this community all the time. You see people, her sending out stuff. Flora is my VA. So Flora is my right-hand person. She does all this stuff for me, and you guys can see her in the community, and she's managing stuff for me all the time. She comes onto these calls, etc. She is my right-hand person, and I want you to have a right-hand person like Flora. And the cost of that is absolutely cheap as chips. So there you go. It's in the chat now for you guys. One more time, hit that 100. There's only seven of those left, and we've already, by the looks of my phone, had a number already taken. So don't wait about. Jump onto that and secure that space. Cool. Right. I'm now going to throw it into the room. Now, I'm happy to take questions from both sides of what we talked about today. So if anybody's got questions about Million Dollar Sprint and actually how that works, more than happy to answer those questions. If anybody's got questions about Sales Navigator and how that works, more than happy to answer those questions. That's in the chat there. So please feel free to jump on. Right. Who's got questions? Who wants to share?
Hi, Richard. You can
Hello.
jump in. How you doing? Good to see.
Very good. Very good.
Very good. So I was in LinkedIn Sales Nav yesterday, and I was trying to do some account mapping, and I wondered if you had any tips on that because I was trying to find people who were in part of an organization, so I could build out sort of a tree of who to look to influence and that sort of thing. And I was a bit at sea with it. So any suggestions there when you're
In
maybe it's
terms of,
not.
in terms of account mapping.
Yeah, so let's say, I'm looking at business sales, so
Mhm.
technology sales and pre-sales, teaching techs to sell better, right?
Yep.
But to get to that sale, I probably need to know who the sales leader is. I need to know who the pre-sales leader is. Maybe I need to know who their head techs are, right?
Yep.
Those people, I need to look at their backgrounds, that sort of thing. So I can start to craft messages for the people I want
Mhm.
to sign off and get connections up with those I'm looking to work with. So
Okay.
familiarity, that sort of thing. How do
So,
I find those people?
so you're thinking sales directors, right?
Yeah, sales directors, heads of technical pre-sales, that sort of thing.
Okay. So you typically go sales. I mean, it's not, it shouldn't be massively difficult. So you've got sales director and what sales,
Yeah, so let's say you got John
maybe
Rabin there at
manager.
the top. So if you
Yeah.
click
Okay.
John Rabin and then go, if you click on him, I think
Well,
it brings up and it was a bit finicky how this worked,
well,
but
I
it
mean,
brings up an account map that you can then start to fill in.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do that because I would just be going industry and then say you want to go software development, you would then do, I don't know, IT or whatever it is, right? So you start to though, IT operations or whatever it is, right? So you got a load of people in here and then you want to go geography. So as we start to filter down, we're only going to get sales directors who are now software development or IT operations. And then we think, well, how big a headcount do you want the business to be?
Yeah. No, I've got my list. So I've got the list. So let's say I was looking at selling into, yeah, Grafana, say something like that.
Yeah.
I'd bring up the account Grafana, I'd search for that, I'd get a list of all the people, and then I'm looking to find who the people are who sort of form the top bit of the tree that I want to talk to. So I can talk to the boots on the ground, the leader, and probably the leader above them. And I want to
Okay.
get them into a sort of structure so I can think about it. And I wondered if there was a way that LinkedIn can help me understand who those people are. And this is an approach then that you take for that. But, yeah, any suggestions there? Might not
I
be you might go after individuals, right?
Yeah, I
Might not
think
be
I'd be
yeah.
going after individuals. I'd just be thinking, right, I just want to speak to, these type of businesses and I want to be going into that size of company, you know?
Okay.
So that's what I'd be doing. And I would just start to reach out to them. And then as I'm reaching out, you're also adding them into a leads list, and then you're all over them in the community. And when you do connect with someone, you can see who else they're connected to, and you can then start to add them into the list. So you could create a leads list, and you could, if I just get rid of that one, I could add a leads list in, and I could make that a specific company. So if I wanted to, I could add a company in. It's not diff, or you can add an account list in there and just do it that way. Um, I don't necessarily see it's a huge. I think you're trying to work out a way that Sales Navigator can find an inner working of each individual company's nuances, and every company's going to be different, and every structure is going to be different. And so I think you just take a hypothesis of these job titles are the people I should be talking to, and then tailor my message to each one. So if I'm going into the someone who's just an IT salesperson, it'll be a slightly different conversation because I'll be saying, hey, can I help you to be able to learn to do X, Y, and Z better? Maybe you should find your boss who can sign this off, sort of thing, versus, hey, can I help your team do something better by doing this and this? And I'll just run two different campaigns through that.
Great. Thank
And
you.
then if you wanted to get super ninja, here's a thing that I didn't share with which I should have done. So I do apologize. But I love when I'm doing one of these searches to actually do my search. So I go kind of business coach in the UK, but then I'll go into first name here, and I would then go David, um, and I'd find all the business coaches in the UK that were called David, that were like this, and it would give me a search like this. And then once I've got this search, I'll then go onto my phone and I'll do a little video, and I'd say, "Hey David, great to speak to you. I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about X, Y, and Z. David, I love what you're posting on your profile, and let's have a chat, right?" And so I create a one video for all the Davids, and then I just send my DMs and my connection requests to just Davids for the next 3 weeks with that same video. And I say I do it, my VA does it. And then bam, 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 one video to all the Davids. It feels personal and tailored because I'm calling them by name, but obviously it's the same video over and over. Once the Davids are finished, then I'll go on to the Anthony's or the Rays or the Dawns, and then I'll do it that way. And that is a really nice campaign and feels very different. And there's a lot of cool softwares that will do that AI automatically. But the thing is, when the AI softwares are doing it, you've got to be sat like this, and it does a lip sync. So the AI will scan your face and make your face go, David, like that, and then record one campaign to say, "I love to do this." So there is an AI way of doing this, but it's always with a like block like this. Whereas if I'm walking down the street in London and I do a video like this and say, "Hey, David, I just thought just 2 seconds. I saw your profile. I love that post you put out. I've got this event coming up. I think it'd be great for you." Boom, boom, boom. There is no AI that can generate that. It's rough, it's raw, it's different, and that's kind of using AI, playing against AI, but kind of being a little bit more cute in the way that you're doing it, right? So again, Sales Navigator. There you go. I have a little ninja tactic for you there. Graham, I can see you're enjoying that. I like that. Okay. Lovely garden behind you there as well. Good. Okay. Thank you, by the way. I just had another few people join. So looking forward to working with you all. That's cool. Thank you very much. We're getting to the end of those slots by the looks of things. So do just remember the links in there. Even if you put that on a different tab and just have it there, please do feel free to jump into there. It's a great program, and I'd love to be able to help you guys with it. So please do jump in there. Right, further questions, thoughts? What have we got? Questions? Any Sales Navigator stuff or anything about the program? Fantastic. David Brown. Oh, David, how you doing? Good to see you, mate. Welcome, welcome. Uh, great to catch you on here. Okay. Um, any other thoughts, questions, guys? We can finish for the day, but I've got some time to there. It's been quite a lot. Dawn, go for it, Dawn.
Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, but I deleted 1,300 LinkedIn contacts this week. Get
I
in.
saw the post that said delete, 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 which is
Yeah,
fantastic.
1,300 gone.
Congratulations.
Feels great. Why do you still have over 20,000 on your LinkedIn?
Because actually they're pretty good.
Okay.
We did. I feel really sorry for her. So I had a VA, Nicole, who worked on my team this beginning of 2023, I think it was. 2023 or 24 was it? Flora was saying 2023, yeah. She just sat there, and bless her heart, just going delete, delete. So going onto each individual's profile, anybody kind of, public sector, which wasn't us, because we can't help any massive, people who work in corporates or employed in big organizations who are not like kind of, side hustling. Just went through. My mum got deleted, bless her. So which was
Yeah, I
sweet.
found several
Um,
dead people on my profile.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's
One of them was my father-in-law, who's been dead
yeah.
quite. Another one was one of my dearest friends who died at the beginning of this year. Um, then there were some that were just from people I just don't want to be associated with.
Dawn,
Uh,
can I just quickly give context for this? Because I think otherwise it just sounds a little bit brutal. So the reason why we
just
do
delete
this,
everybody.
yeah, the reason why we do this, we talked about this in one of the other sessions, is if you are trying to create a nice piece of content that's meant for, inspiring authors, which Dawn could be doing, right? So she creates a piece of content for authors,
And
um,
HR departments.
and then she puts it out to her, 10,000 people that are part of her connections, right? But LinkedIn will only show it to sort of 3 to 5% of your audience for the initial push. And if they get likes and comments, then it's like a layering, right? So it will layer it into more of your audience, plus it will also layer it out to their second degree connections. So then you get out to other audiences, and the kind of viral block of what you get is more of yours plus some of theirs. And that's how your post will go viral, right? So that's how it works. But you have to get this 3 to 5%. It has to work well because this content has to get likes and engagement and shares, right? Which is why we use the pod to be able to artificially generate those likes and comments and shares to be able to then gift yourself this more reach. But here's the problem. If 10,000 people are connected with you, but only say 10% of them are actually inspiring authors, and that post is about inspiring authors, then this 3 to 5% is only going to have 10% of it still, because it's a percentage that is actually going to be right for this content. And so if only 10% is in it, and those 10% have to have been on LinkedIn at that moment in time, in that instant, to be able to actually like, comment, share, then you're basically giving yourself a complete, a difficult start to every post that you put out because your audience is not right for the content you are creating. And a lot of us pivot, a lot of us change, a lot of us corporate jobs, and now we have businesses. And so we have this block of incorrect audience. So if we disconnect with them, we actually invert this to make it more like 90% authors and 10% not right, then your reach is going to be far, far better, and your actual content's going to do well, right? So that's why it's important to not accept every connection request. That's why it's important to use things like Sales Navigator to reach out to the right audience and get this right. So that's why we do it. And Dawn, you've enjoyed taking down your audience, have you?
I have, absolutely. And it reminded me of like why we're here. We're on LinkedIn to build a business. And yes, I'm there to, but I'm not just looking for people because I was wanting to ask you because my audience is really wide because people who are going to be working with me are people who are actually going to be writing about something that's going to create social impact, and they're going to go across a lot of audience. There are a lot of marketplaces. I don't necessarily want to work with a lot of people that are just writing a book just for the title of author. They're not my people. If that's why you're doing it, then you're missing the whole point of why to write a book. But it's that narrative coaching that goes on when you write a book, and it's that critical thinkers. I only want to deal with people who think critically or want to improve their critical thinking or speak up and own their voice. And so going through that process of deleting people, I mean, I went back years. I was like, oh my God, I don't even like that person anymore. There's no way I could work with that person. Because I'm not the same woman I was at the beginning of the year. I'm certainly not the same woman I was 13 years ago when I connected with some of them. And I think going through that process was so valuable of reminding me how much I've grown and how much I've changed and how much more serious about my business I am now. So I would really recommend it to a lot
And
of
when you
people.
do it as well, do DM the people that you are going and seeing, because you'll be searching through. It's a bit of a manual process, as Dawn's
Oh,
found
I
out.
didn't do that. I just went through all my connections, right?
Yeah.
Don't want you. You've retired. The amount of people, and I don't know if it's my age, but the amount of people that have retired or haven't been active on LinkedIn for years, I'm like, seriously?
But if you go, oh, yeah, I've got 15,000, so it's not as bad as that. But look, you go through this,
Go
right?
to the three dots.
And you can, yeah, go through and actually reconnection, but send a message to the ones that you like to keep. And to be honest with you, because if you've been doing this right for a while, what you can do is not go, you can go recently added if you wanted to, and then go to the bottom and try and skip, past the recent ones, but that might just take a while. So actually what I recommend to people, do it by first name and actually then go, right, today I'm going to do all the A's and I'm going to go through the A's and I'm actually going to go out and I'm going to say, oh, okay, this person, because also some people start off as doing something and then they switch roles. So this person here who's a senior project manager probably isn't actually right for me. So I can remove connection like this. But actually someone here at Life Good Marketing, I might say, hey, I say, well, great, I can just go into this and go, hi, uh, 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 things, right? And then just send them a message. Bam. Right. So you restart the conversation with people, or even just start the conversation with people. So it's actually quite a nice, and what I'd recommend, you have like almost like a pre-created message to say, hey, how are things? I'm running this event next week on X, Y, and Z. Would love you to come along to it. So you're not just spending the time deleting, but you're also spending the time reaching out. And it doesn't have to be to everybody, but it could just be right. And when I see really good people, I do that. And when I see someone that I actually personally, there's people that are your connections, and there's people that you kind of personally know. Or people like this, so podcast hope, happy at work. So, oh, cool. Hey, love the podcast. We'd love to talk to you about being on your podcast, right? So, bam, push it in like that. So you can just go through and actually use this time to go through all the A's. And actually, interestingly, there's not many A's there. That's amazing. So I can just go through all the people with A, work through them, and then go on to the next one. Go on to the next one, right? Cool. So that's what I would say. That's how I'd work
Yeah,
it.
my LinkedIn feed now this morning, I'm seeing the people that I want to see. It's a lot more inspiring. It's a lot more motivating as well. And I'm with people that I want to collaborate with and probably work with, but also people who make me laugh, because that I think that's also important. So but yeah, thank you
Got
for
it.
that. I
Okay.
mean, I'm
Well,
purged
good.
anyway, but 1300 in one day was very useful. Felt
It was
great.
very useful. Great stuff. Well, look, guys, we're there, and thank you, Dawn. Congratulations on your cull. And thank you. I'm so looking forward to working with the people that signed up today. And if you didn't, that's no problem at all. Look forward to seeing you at the next session or on a profile audit or whatever, right? See you in the group maybe. But last thing, but least, if you still haven't got the link, there's the link in the chat. Click on that. Just have it open on a different tab and mull it over because we'd love to help. Right. Big love, guys. Take care, and we'll see you all on the flip side. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you, Richard. Bye.